Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at silhouettes as inspiration for our project. I'm going to show you a few examples of silhouettes from books, and you can see the generalized large shapes and some details here and there. There's some really detailed silhouettes in this book. A lot of cutting for making these silhouettes out of paper. Some contemporary artists create silhouettes using paper, like Kara Walker, but we'll talk about those artists later. Now, after you've created your sketches, I have some student examples here. You're going to create 4 sketches and then move on to the final sketch that you decide. You're each going to be able to get a black piece of paper, and you're going to create your design onto your black piece of paper. Now, this can be a little bit tricky with silhouettes because you're going to have to cut out a lot of details to help the audience understand what they're looking at. And we're actually going to be using this for our Square One art project. So I have a student example here that I'm just going to translate onto a black piece of paper. And it looks like he drew some whales, and maybe his silhouette is going to be a scene from the sea. So I'm just going to use pencil. I'm going to make a mark where I want the beginning of the whale and the end of the whale, because I want these kind of big. And then where the bottom of the whale is. Now it might be hard for you to see, but when you draw with pencil, you'll still be able to see what the design is. So I'm just going to try to create the most generalized shapes that I can. And all the details are important. They create the scene of your silhouette. So I see that he created the sea floor bottom. So I'm going to create as many details so I can give an audience a story through what silhouette I'm creating. Now, just so you can see this a little bit better, I'm going to outline it in crayon. You don't have to outline yours. I'm just doing this so you can see. Just a little trick of creating where you want the end of the drawing and the other end. And I'm just kind of trying to draw big so that it's easy for the audience to see and we can understand what the picture is. Now you're going to take your scissors and carefully cut this out. I'm just going to cut these out in big chunks and then go in and cut the details with my scissors. Okay, I got the bottom of the sea floor. And then I'm going to kind of imagine where I'm going to place this on my Square One paper, or if you're using a regular piece of construction paper, whatever you're using, you can kind of lay out the pieces and see how the silhouette's going to look, what kind of story will it tell. So with silhouettes, you're not going to draw details on them. The only details that are going to be created are created by the shape that you cut out. So you sketched a lot of designs, you sketched ideas that have a lot of details, but remember, we're not going to put that on the silhouette cutout, because the silhouette is just the shadow of whatever you're drawing. And you can lay out your design. It looks like this is probably going to be too big for this Square One art picture. So I might have to downsize these. If I was just using a regular construction paper, they would be fine. But in the Square One art picture, we can only basically draw in this box and use this box because the outer edges might get cropped. So keep that in mind. We don't want your outer edges to get cropped by the picture. So you might have to downsize some of your silhouettes. Here's some other silhouettes of figures, different ideas, people dancing, just movement in general. Some people used movement for their square one art and created this kind of background. Think about if you want to do a tree or some kind of landscape, you have to show the details that create that picture. Next time we'll talk about the background and how we're going to paint the background, and then we'll be gluing the black paper onto our square one piece. So again, just try to think about how you can translate your picture into a silhouette. If it's mountains or if you're trying to include plants or rocks, think about how you can translate it. This person created a Yoda, so we can recognize that figure of Yoda, and here he did his drawing. You have some really nice drawings with a lot of details, but think about how you can create the details as part of the shadow so that it's easy for people to recognize. I hope that this helps you, and I'm so excited to work on these silhouettes with you guys. Enjoy.